A little bit of activity out there in the Western Caribbean this afternoon as we head into the last video of June. Let's start out with the map across the U.S. for this afternoon. We've got a couple of different air masses, one up there in the northeastern U.S., cool, low 70s temperatures, and high pressure off the coast of Massachusetts. In the southeastern U.S., under the influence of the tropics, deep southerly flow coming up into Texas, Alabama, and Florida. The sea breeze becoming active, and numerous showers and thunderstorms all the way from Houston out to Atlanta and Charleston. In the southwest deserts, a little bit of dry air up around Clayton and Dalhart, but that monsoon moisture has infiltrated the southern Rockies. Dew points are up into the 50s in many areas, and with that, quite a bit of precipitation in the higher elevations. Temperatures still running about 110 degrees in the lower deserts. The moisture, however, still around 60 degrees there for dew points around Tucson and Phoenix, but as you go west, it does drop off down to 47 at Blythe, 46 at Needles, and 25 up there at Las Vegas. The thunderstorm activity confined mostly to the Four Corners and the higher elevations. You can see the Mogollon Rim right there. That's the higher elevations, and that's the plateau region elevations there, about 4,000 to 5,000 feet. The lower deserts looking pretty dry, and that's partly due to the influence of the subtropical high, keeping sort of a cap in place over that region, so we're not able to get buoyant deep convective lift through the troposphere. Certainly a different story in the Four Corners area, lots of residual moisture and orographic lift. That's a big plus for storm formation. Looking at the precipitable water, clearly we've got a lot of moisture around Tucson, Ajo, back into the Gulf of California, but we're not realizing precipitation in that region. Most of that is in the higher elevations. So what's going on right here? Why are we not getting thunderstorms in the lower deserts? So here's the high-resolution rapid refresh. Theta E field will drop the parcel right around Yuma and some of that higher Theta E. And look at that sounding. And we do see dry air just above the surface, much drier up above 10,000 feet. And quite a bit of warm air in the upper troposphere. And we get just this very narrow sliver where the LCL is favorable for further lift. However, this lifted parcel, not really representative, so I would not even use that. Most likely the lifted parcel is going to run something like this. And the LCL probably right in here. And then we would lift up wet adiabatically, something like that. So none of this favorable for deep convection. So you have to be careful when you use those forecast soundings. In the northeastern U.S., the cold advection is starting to shut down this area here under the influence of ridging, and to the west we're getting that moist southerly flow. You can see the cumulus coming up north into the Ohio River Valley and the southern baroclinic stuff out to the west, which we'll look at shortly. In the southeastern U.S., numerous showers and storms, especially around Orlando, south of Jacksonville, and on up into Georgia. Some of this associated with the sea breeze, especially in Texas and Louisiana. And it becomes a little bit more unclear as you go east, but I think that might also be sea breeze activity. We can pick up another segment up there in the Carolinas as well. There's a look at some of that activity in Florida. Mostly just a patchwork of multi-cell storms. A few of these do have severe warnings, but the primary hazard is going to be wind. The freezing level, too high for hail, and the shear profiles do not favor tornadoes. It is another hot day in Texas. Here's the current temperatures as we record this. Up to 106 at Altus, 105 at Woodward. And we've got 100s all the way from Fort Worth up to the Panhandles and down towards southwest Texas, 104 at Presidio. We have heat advisories today all across the southern plains, from Gulfport, Nashville, all the way back west towards Wichita and Abilene. These purple areas, those are going to be excessive heat warnings. They're expecting heat indexes above 110 at Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Dallas-Fort Worth. And for the Memphis area for Saturday, for heat indexes up to 110. Heading into the central plains, we've got this frontal system in eastern Kansas. Some very rich moisture, dew points above 75 across much of the eastern part of the state. There's the radar out of Topeka showing some elevated convection in the northwestern counties of Missouri, a boundary through the northern counties of Kansas, and new convection east of Salina. And we can see deep southerly flow through that area, some gravity waves. So this is all a very potent area for thunderstorm formation, and we'll probably see additional cells going up around the Topeka, Kansas City area this evening. And further to the north, a little baroclinic zone across northern Minnesota out to North Dakota. Initially, I was thinking this was going to be an occlusion, but there's plenty of warm air from Fargo to Bismarck and lots of cold air wrapping around. So this isn't really fully occluded. Looks like two separate systems, the one up north and the one down to the south. All right, let's head out into the Pacific. There's the friendly North Pacific high. We're going to be seeing more of that as we go into July. Heading further north, a little bit stormy out there in the Gulf of Alaska. In the interior of Alaska itself, warm conditions, temperatures up into the 70s. It's probably gone even hotter since we've done this map. You can see some wildfire smoke being indicated. And there is a red flag warning around the Fort Yukon area. Some concern that afternoon storms could set off wildfires from the lightning strikes. Continued very warm on the north slope, 65 up at Prudhoe Bay, and even warmer up there in the Northwest Territories, 81 at Inuvik, 75 at Coppermine, and 60s all the way into Banks Island and Victoria Island. But cold weather in the eastern Arctic with that very strong Hudson Bay low pattern continuing. That Hudson Bay low driving cold air into the Canadian prairies. Temperatures actually pretty cool there, looking at 50s and even 40s around Fort Severn. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for central British Columbia due to the possibility of torrential rain. Typically here in the U.S., we look for hail, wind, or tornadoes. Canada, presumably, they also lump in heavy rainfall as well. And a rainy pattern this afternoon in Newfoundland. We've got rainfall warnings south of St. John ending this evening. Things picking up in the tropics. We've got Tropical Depression 2. That's going to be Invest 95L, about 1,300 miles east-southeast of Barbados. You can see that the maximum sustained winds there about 35 miles an hour, and central pressure only 1007 millibars. There is some concern we might see tropical storm development in the southern latitudes as well as in the Bay of Campeche. Let's take a look at the integrated vapor transport map. Here we can see things a little bit more closely. There's Invest 94L. That's going to be a tropical disturbance located in the western Caribbean, currently 130 miles east of Chetumal. Winds are 35 miles an hour in that. And there's the strong moisture advection on the north side of that. Anyway, we can watch that move across the Yucatan during the day tomorrow and into the Bay of Campeche. So that's how it looks. Looks like it closes off. The center, only 1009 millibars, so that's not very strong at all. And then we go into Sunday, drifting westward into Mexico around Veracruz. That'll be carried inland, some of the rain going into the interior. And here comes our next weather system. This is 108 hours out. There's quite a bit of potential for error in this solution, but the deterministic GFS, taking that through the northern Caribbean, grazing Haiti there, and maybe Jamaica, and then dying off as it gets into western Cuba. So maybe we're not going to see much of that here. Going into later in the week, looks like another surge of tropical moisture making it into the Caribbean. And then maybe a little bit of redevelopment there. In the Eastern Gulf, we'll have to keep an eye on that. That's going to be next weekend. So that's quite a ways off. A lot could change between now and then. In the meantime, let's see what's going on with this sauna of moisture. 1.5 to 2 inch precipitable water all the way into the northern plains and quite a bit of it down in the southeastern U.S. And I'm just going to run through this very quickly so you can see where the moisture goes and what it's doing. Looks like a big surge coming in from the south. That's due to that increased southerly fetch, and quite a bit of it converging along that frontal boundary through the Ohio River Valley into the Great Lakes. Then going into Sunday and Monday, that moisture concentrates in the southern states, East Texas, eastern Oklahoma, and southerly flow bringing it northward. I should probably add some vectors to this map. Maybe that would make it a little bit more useful. And as we go into later in the week, plenty of moisture through the east central U.S., the central Mississippi River Valley, so just a continuation of this unsettled and sometimes rainy pattern. And down there off Florida, that's going to be that tropical cyclone that the model is trying to pick up on. And just to show you some of the variability, this is a slightly newer GFS run. It goes with a tropical cyclone off the east coast of Florida, nothing in the eastern Gulf. So that just shows you that there's just not much confidence how all this is going to evolve. Okay, let's take a look at that forecast, starting with tonight. We did find that the structure of this front up north a little bit different from what I'm showing you here, but don't worry about that too much. In any case, it is going to be overrun with cold air going into tomorrow. This is tomorrow afternoon. Those lower thicknesses coming south, the 549 decameter line all the way down towards Grand Forks. Highs tomorrow going to be in the 60s in North Dakota and in the 70s, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Minnesota. South of this front, around Dallas, though, another 100-degree day, and we're looking at some very warm weather out west as well. 98 degrees at Salt Lake City and 96 at Boise. A marginal risk of severe weather in the eastern Great Lakes region, looking at Pittsburgh, Buffalo State College, Akron, basically this entire region right there. That's ahead of this warm front that's going to be lifting to the north into the evening right there. Okay, let's take it into Sunday. Stagnant frontal boundary pushing into the Red River region of Texas. So numerous showers and storms just north of there in Oklahoma. So this is going to be Sunday evening. We've got an SPC slight risk across the entire northeastern corridor. It looks like this cold front may be coming through during peak heating offshore. So 4 p.m., that's going to be out here. So that will mitigate some of that severe potential if that all pans out. So that's one thing you want to watch as you go into Sunday. Groundhog Day again in Dallas, waking up to another 100-degree day out there. The heat cranks up in Utah and Wyoming. You can see that this is in the warm sector. Strong southwesterly flow. Some areas will get downslope as well. Highs will be up to 100 degrees at Graybull, Worland, and Thermopolis in Wyoming. That's going to be in this area right here. Salt Lake City up to 99 degrees. It's also going to be very hot in Arizona, up to 112 at Phoenix and 110 at Las Vegas. Then going into Sunday evening, numerous storms breaking out. We may see a monsoon surge into southeastern Arizona later on Sunday. Going into Monday, this is how things look during the evening. Possibility of severe weather in the northern plains, Nebraska, South Dakota. Have to watch that right there. Slight risk of excessive rainfall for Minnesota. You can see those showers and storms are back. We had those damaging floods earlier this week. And hot weather pushes out into the high plains of the central U.S., looking for 102 degrees at Goodland and 103 at Oberlin, Kansas. Going into Tuesday, some of that hot weather rotates southward into the southern plains, looking for 105 degrees at Wichita Falls, 104 at Enid, 102 degrees at Oklahoma City, and 103 for Dallas, and a very big warm-up out there in California, going up to 108 at Sacramento and 106 at Fresno. You can see some of that monsoon activity is back in eastern Arizona, western New Mexico. Then going into Wednesday, this is going to be the situation. A frontal boundary through the Central Plains into Oklahoma and Texas. It's going to be another hot one for the Dallas area up to 101 again. And then going into Thursday, looks like the possibility for severe weather in South Dakota. Hot once again in Texas and a big warm-up, especially in Nevada and California. We're looking for 100 degrees at Reno. Las Vegas up to 113. That's going to be the hottest day of the week, and 98 degrees at Tonopah. Also warming up on the East Coast, lower 90s around New York City, and mid to upper 90s in Virginia, but a little bit of cold air working its way south. Then we go into Friday and Saturday. Looks like another shot of cold air coming into the northern plains and the central plains. Showers and storms with that as well. And that's going to take us to the very end of the sequence. We don't really know about that tropical storm down in the south. And just looks kind of like a progressive weather pattern across much of the U.S. A little bit more active than usual for July. And for our Geo Guesser that we did back on Wednesday, yes, this was Alvin, Texas, had the highest 24-hour rainfall amount in the lower 48. That was in 1979 when Tropical Storm Claudette brought 42 inches of rain to Alvin in 24 hours. Congratulations to Keith Brandt. Quickly solved that one. Not sure how you figured it out, but yeah, head to weathergraphics.com and click on the contact link and we'll get you that free book. And I should mention that Jordan Hasler got that one right as well, although Keith came in first. Let's do another one. This is our new Geo Guesser for today. An important meteorological event occurred here, not actually inside the town, but about 20 miles away. See if you can guess where this is. We may have the same giveaway of a free weather forecasting red book to the first person to guess the location. You're eligible for the prize as long as you have a U.S. shipping address and you're not already a previous winner. We have some people here who are too good at this, and we want everybody to have a shot. Okay, so we're going to announce this on the Wednesday show, so stay tuned for that. And just a quick clarification, your answer for that Geo Guesser must go to YouTube comments, so keep that in mind. All right, so that's it for this program. Hope you have a great weekend. Take care, and we'll see you back here on Monday for the supporters. If you want to see that Monday show, you need to be on Patreon and need to be supporting the program. You can do that for just $5. Otherwise, we'll see you back here again on Wednesday. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.